I just want to start the press conference by sending our deepest condolences and thoughts and prayers to the UVA community, what they're dealing with this morning, what they'll continue to go through. It's just horrific and tragic. So we'll keep it at that and open up for questions.
What were your main takeaways after getting to watch the tape back?
Yeah, I mean, optimistic. When you look at us we'll start on defense. I thought we swarmed around the ball, tackled really well. I thought we were able to create some takeaways, which was really good for us when we benefited off of that. There's still a lot more meat left on the bone, as I told our team defensively. I think that there was 2 or 3 plays that we'd love to be able to have back defensively. Got to limit the explosive plays. But on the offensive side of the ball, when you go back, if you watch the tape, there's 2 plays you'd love to have back. The one that slips out of Athan's hand, if he completes that to Michael Brown-Stevens, he's still running. And a lot of people say that, and then they get tackled for a 10-yard gain. Oh, he'd score. No, he really wouldn't. Michael Brown probably would have scored. If we complete the post, the quick post to Dalen, and it's a better ball, we probably score. And those are that's how our offense works. We've got to be the routine plays have to be made, right, from every position. And if we're able to make them, it's a different game. Now we won, 31-3. Okay, so this isn't like we only scored 5 points, But when you look at how much more we can do just routinely, that's what we got to get out of our guys. That's what we have to be able to do. And I love how hard they're working. I'm proud of how hard they're working. Proud of them. Have a ton of respect how hard they're working to get that fixed and get that done. But that's what I mean when I say the routine parts, and those are 2 plays that you'd love to be able to have back. And then I thought special teams, I thought we did what we needed to do. PATs, field goals, punts. I thought we covered really well. I mean, they had -4 yards in the punt return game, which, you're watching Tyler Newman fly down the field and Justin Wally fly down the field and guys like that making plays on special teams. And that's how you find a way to win games.
Can you speak to the growth you've seen from Ja Joyner of this back half?
Yeah, I told him this last night. The old saying, if you got to believe in yourself first, if somebody believes in you. I'm not sure if I necessarily believe all of that, but I will say that, our job is to keep instilling confidence into you and into you and into you. Now, you've got to take that and run with it and get yourself to believe in yourself more than you ever have. And I think Ja Joyner is a great example of that. One, he came here, 40 pounds lighter. He's dedicated himself to the nutrition program, to the weight room. And this year, more than any, there's a different feeling about him when you're around. There's a different sense. There's different urgency. And you're starting to see that on the field. He could be one of the best players on this football team. And I continue to tell him that. And it's nice to be able to see him starting maybe to believe that because there could have been 5 more holding penalties. Because when you play that hard and you're that long and you're that twitchy, the only option is to hold at times. And when you do that, you create the obvious. It's obvious. And officials always talk about that in holding when they send something back. Well, show me he's being restricted. Well, he was being restricted, and they called it. So he is maybe one of the most improved players this season. And just love his progress. And I think he needed a game like that for his own confidence. But you can start to see it through training camp. You start to see it at the beginning of the year, and you knew it was coming at some point. But to me, he's the X factor over there right now. If we can get him to keep playing at that level and continue to invest in the weight room, invest in the nutrition, invest in himself on and off the field, I mean, he's going to be a really special player because he's got multiple years left. So we're excited about his future, but futures now are technically. So he had a really good game, and he was one of our players of the week. Really proud of his progress.
PJ, when Saturday comes, the 2 defenses will be in the spotlight. What makes them similar in comparison and quality?
Well, first of all, I have a ton of respect for Iowa and what they've continued to do and their personality and what they've done defensively. It's impressive. I don't know if I've seen that in college football where the defense creates the majority of the points throughout the year. Sometimes it's like maybe one year you have that and it's a special year. They seem to do it every year. Year in, year out, their defense scores an awful lot, like an offense. So I have a ton of respect for Kirk and what he's been able to build over there, Coach Parker and the cultural sustainability they've had. But this is why you play at Minnesota. This is why you go to Illinois. This is why you go to Wisconsin. This is why you go in the Big Ten. This is why you have those rivalry games. Fox 3 p.m. I mean, this is what it's all about. And 2 teams have have really kind of, I think, gotten better as the season's gone on. And, the defensive part of that is, I'm sure it will be on display somehow, some way on Saturday. But, it's a whole team game. You got special teams, offense, defense, and it's a rivalry game. So
How do you feel Athens responded after Saturday?
it's been great. Again, when you're having a freshman quarterback play, it's just like a rookie in the NFL. I mean, you know that there's going to be things that they have to be able to build their own scars. You look at Tanner and his experience. His experience has to do with scars, things he's done well, things he hasn't done well, things he's learned from. You take for granted at times some things, even just like in between plays, routines. Am I playing catch or am I in the huddle? Am I on the sideline? How much do I do that? How much do I not do that? There's all these things that he's building, and I said this at the press conference after the game, that he's just got to get into his own routine of how to be able to make the whole game fit, stay in rhythm, stay warm. And I think he's figuring all that out as we speak, as he gets that experience. But there's no greater teacher than experience, and that's what he's gaining right now. But I thought he's responded really well. I mean, he's such a competitor. I mean, he knew. Listen, we won the game, but he knew he can play better. I mean, we've all seen him play better. But it all just doesn't fall on him. But he's the ultimate competitor. We did some other things at the wide receiver position that we can't do. We just have to be better overall as a team.
How is Tanner progressing himself?
Really good. Yep, he was at practice yesterday. The medical staff has him, so they just kind of let me know what he can and cannot do each day, and we'll just keep developing him and throughout the week and see if we get him game day.
When it comes to Athens routines, that category, what are the things that you might try to influence or interject?
Yeah, you interject when you can because you don't want any robots, right? The great thing about Athan is he's his own person. I want him to be himself. And same thing with Tanner, be yourself. But there's also this expectation as a leader of what you need to be able to do, right? And finding that balance, There was one play, we're in the huddle, and I'm looking around, and he didn't do anything wrong. I'm just like, where's the quarterback, right? And he's over there warming up and throwing. And that's good. But there's times you got to be in the huddle, too, in certain moments. And the throwing's got to happen, over on the sideline, in between series. He loves the game, and he's supporting the defense. In one part, he's over there. He was doing the bushwhacker over there, with the defense. And I was like, all right, it's awesome. I love that about the quarterback, right? Get fired up and then get back. But you got to now go on the field, right? He's a great teammate. He's learning how to be an elite leader on this team, learning how to run this team, doing his own way in his freshman year, basically, in his redshirt freshman year. So, and again, he's not doing anything wrong. He's just got to find out what works for him. And you can find out what works for you in practice, but you only get to know what works for you in games in meaningful time when you're the starter and you're playing, and that's what he's getting. So he's doing a great job with it, coaching him up as we go, giving him, I'd call it more suggestions than saying this is a demand you have to do, because I want him to be himself. But the team really trusts him, and that's good to see. It's hard to do that as a redshirt freshman, to gain that, and the guys know how good he is. And the guys understand, that he can do some things that are really special. So it's fun to see that when a freshman goes in. Sometimes people are like, oh, boy, here's a freshman. Oh, no. They're not that way with Athan at all.
Can you speak to just the meaning of senior day, and just you have a lot of kids on Saturday that are going to be going through that home game day experience for the final time, just kind of what that all means?
Yeah, senior day is one of the most emotional times, emotional minutes, right, before a game that you have. You go through this series of emotions even before you go through an emotional game. So there's so many people who have done so much for this program. We've got, quarterback leaving here as the all-time winningest quarterback in the history of the school. We've got people who, have set all types of records, like Mohamed Ibrahim here, who could go down as the greatest running back, arguably ever. One in, Minnesota, and then arguably one of the best ever in the Big Ten. There's so many people who have given a lot to this program, who believed in this program before we even got here. Kind of believed on a whim that within a day or so that this was going to be the right place for them after being committed somewhere else for so long. And I can't thank them enough, and we'd love to have a lot of them back. I still have to have some conversations. I'm interested in who shows up today and asks about senior day and who wants to walk. So we'll find out. Some of them have already come and say, I would like to walk on senior, which is great. And then some I'm still holding out. So we'll see. I'm not really in my office today. I'm walking around more than ever. They can't spot me, can't find me. So But it's I can't tell you how much they mean to this program. And I've told them this too. I said the great thing about it is you've created enormous expectations here and aspirations within the program. You've done things that teams haven't done in over 100 years. I can go on and on. Sometimes never. I think they've changed some of the thoughts, beliefs, and of people of what Gopher football can become and what we can get it to. They've passed that legacy on to future generations, and we want them to be able to bring their families back, their children, their partners, and come back and share this culture with them and share their alma mater with their families. And I hope they continue to do that because it's a really special group of seniors that mean a lot to me personally and our staff, and I know our administration, and hopefully our fans as well. So we're looking forward to celebrating them before the game.
Have you heard back from the NCAA about Chris's waiver yet?
I haven't heard back yet, but that's in the process. All signs point to that he'll be back, but nothing's official till it's official. But I don't see why they would turn it away.
PJ, what's the biggest challenge Iowa's defense presents for you guys?
They never beat themselves. They're in the right place, right time, all the time. And it's a credit to what they do and what they've done for a long time. You know where they're going to be. You know what they're going to run. They just do it better than everybody else. And they're very smart. They're intelligent. They're tough. They fly around. They tackle well. They've got great instincts and vision on the ball. They're always around the ball. Everybody's got great hands. So when they don't miss an opportunity because somebody drops an interception. And they play for Iowa. They're really tough.
What have you taken from the previous 5 Iowa games going into this one?
Well, you always embrace your past to create your future. When you look past and it's hard because when you look at it as a body of work, right? And we look at it as a one-game championship season. Of course, we look at the games we played in them to get tendencies, to get things that worked, that didn't work. What have people used against them? They're doing the same thing with us. What have we done in the past? What have we done haven't done in 5 years that maybe they won't see that coming? They're doing the same thing to us. But we look at it as a one-game entity. So this is a completely different team than it was last year. Our team, third team. You've got to see what's on film, what challenges are presented by their personnel and this year's football team. Doesn't mean that what worked 4 years ago or didn't work 4 years ago won't work this year. You got to stay focused on that one-game championship season, and that's what we're doing.
One or two more for Coach.
Is there any greater internal motivation given that this is the one rivalry game that you haven't won yet?
Well, again, you could sit there and say that probably about any coach in America and any team in America, somehow, some way, what hasn't happened for however many years. But again, same thing. That one-game championship season is the mindset. Our players know how important this game is. Iowa's players know how important this game is. I mean, that's a rivalry. That's what it's all about. I mean, you don't have to tell them at all about what this means to our program, what this means to our state. And this is why you come to the University of Minnesota playing games like this. And they have an opportunity to do that on Saturday. And I don't think we need to tell them how important that is. I don't think Kirk needs to tell his team how important that is either. Not to speak for him, but we know how important that is because it's the next game and it's a rivalry game this season.
I wasn't able to be here today, but he wanted me to ask a question about your success on third down. Why does it make it the best in the country?
He should be telling me. I mean, he should have all the data and all the analytics of why it is the way it is right now. I just think that I think anybody who has success on third down sets up third and manageable and short. And I think sometimes those numbers can get inflated. I don't think there's a lot of teams that are in 3rd and 10, and the majority of the third downs are 3rd and 10, and they lead the NFL or they lead NCAA in third down efficiency. You're setting up 3rd and shorts, 3rd and manageables, and that's how you get to where we've gotten to. We've been executing at a high level on 1st and 2nd down, setting up some 3rd and manageables. Now, have we ran the ball on a 3rd and 21 and got it earlier in the year? Sure. But we've also done some things on 3rd down that have got us points as well, where we knew we probably wouldn't get the 1st down, but it set up some points, which you saw last game. But I think that 3rd down efficiency comes down to how well you execute 1st and 2nd down. And if you're able to do that efficiently, you can set up, 3rd down and be able to get those statistics up and keep drives alive, keep the ball away, keep your time of possession. And again, complementary football comes into all of that, Andy, and those are the decisions you have to be able to make throughout the headsets. And when you're running the ball 58 times like we did last week, that was what was necessary to win that particular football game. If we hit those 2 explosive plays, we're not having the conversations we're having today that are just routine plays, right? So But I think that's why we've had the success we've had is the first and second down, and I was really good on first and second down as well.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, everyone.
I appreciate it. Roll the boat, Sky Gophers.